Today, I'll share with you relationship patterns that you may consider changing if you want a long-lasting, fulfilling, and conscious relationship. I know how frustrating and lonely it can feel when you get to a certain age, for example, and you're still not able to find the one, have a relationship of your dreams, and just be with the person that is right for you, you're right for them, just having some beautiful connection with someone. And that's frustrating because you've tried it from one angle, from another angle, from this part, from that part, and it's still not happening. That can bring a lot of sadness, and for some people to the level of grief where they come to start grieving something that they imagine they will not have. So listen carefully and let me know if you recognize any of these patterns sticking the sticks in the wheels of your relationships. So this pattern is very common, and I see a lot of my clients going through the same pattern. And this happens when the relationship is still fresh and you meet someone new and you literally just invest all your time into that relationship, all your time, all your energy, all your resources, and anything that is your personal, it kind of decimates and is absorbed by that relationship or the person that you are with. So this is something that can happen in the honeymoon part of the relationship, a new relationship where everything is just so explosive and you just want to be with that person all the time, and it's all fresh and curious and new, and there is a lot of things going on. But in the long term, if you're looking for a long-term relationship, if you're looking for something that will fulfill you long term, it is very important to keep your personal flame for yourself still going. And by personal flame for yourself, I mean your own goals, your own dreams, your own aspirations, whether these are hobbies, whether this is something that you're serious about. This is a part of you that will be interesting for another person, for your partner in the long term. So don't let go, don't neglect that part of you that is passionate about something in your life, whether with or without a partner. In a long-term relationship, this is something that is very healthy to have between the partners, okay? So you have your personal thing, your partner has his personal thing, so you are two whole personalities in this relationships, not trying to fulfill half of this and half of this. You know, in a long-term relationship, this is a very strong point to have your own personal drive for something that is not necessarily the same as your partner. It's all okay, but this is something that will propel your relationship to go further and become more intimate if you keep that inner spark within yourself and you don't throw it away every time you meet a new exciting person. Another relationship pattern that I invite you to consider, start changing, is the pattern where you, whether it's coming from your childhood, whether it's coming from previous experiences and relationships, but it is a pattern of you being silent about your needs, whatever experiences you are having, and it's basically just silencing yourself. So you're not communicating properly, you are not expressing your feelings perhaps or thoughts, and I understand this is very common when people just meet and you just want to be liked and you want to show your best parts and all that kind of thing. But if you are inauthentic from the beginning, it is going to be very difficult to have, whether possible or not, to have some kind of long-term relationship where you feel good. Because the more you withhold your own truth, the resentment will start build in the long term of the relationship, where you're not able to be yourself. Suddenly your subconscious goes back to the same part where it's like, oh, okay, so in this relationship I also cannot be myself. I need to pretend to be someone else again. And you kind of already know where that's gonna go, but you're still doing it out of this pattern. So really would recommend look into that before getting into a new relationship. Where are you silencing yourself? Where do you find yourself being inauthentic when you meet other people? Where are you hiding your true self? You still keep playing that inauthentic game, which obviously is not going to build anything fulfilling or long lasting. If it will, it's going to be misery. The third pattern you may consider changing for the sake of a creating more conscious, long lasting, and fulfilling relationship is the pattern of control. And this can have an array of behaviors and whether conscious, unconscious, and manipulations and all that. What I see in these, let's say, perhaps new relationships, when the stage of more settling down begins and you find yourself in this place where you feel happy and you can finally look around and say, yeah, I'm in this beautiful relationship, everything is falling into places, it's great, I'm loving it, it's all good. But then normal things happen, right? Changes do arrive. You don't need to look for them very far away. This is life. Things happen and changes happen. And instead of, so this is the pattern of control that I see, instead of sort of taking it and growing from that change and perhaps evolving the relationship, people fight for staying the same. It's like, oh, but we used to do that and now it's different. And see how that is, again, the control and safety mechanism. Because sometimes for some people, new changes will cause anxiety because from what they stand everywhere, everything is quite good. So why do you want to change that? So it becomes this friction of, no, I want to stay here. Everything as it is serves me perfectly well, but you want to go somewhere there. And that's the tension of control. I don't want you to go there because I'm happy here. But another person wants to evolve, they want to explore, they want to change something in the dynamic of the relationship, for example, and the other person just wants to stay the same. And the last pattern that I want to mention today is very fantastic, I would say, because it is to do with fantasy and our imaginations and what we fantasize about getting into a new relationship. And obviously, like, a lot of people have these fantasies. They don't see them as fantasies. They see them as some kind of standard that they have created for themselves. But the real thing will always be far away from fantasy. And the more you live in a fantasy world, the more disconnected reality is going to be. a lot of people have that idea that the next relationship is going to be the one, and they finally gonna meet the Mr. Right, Mrs. Right, whatever, because all these previous ones were just shit. So there is no accountability, there is no self-reflection, there is no learning, there is nothing coming from all of those previous encounters, because all of them kind of just confirming the bias that we already have, and yet the fantasy is still here. I'm still running for that carrot on that stick. Instead of looking back and thinking, oh, okay, wait a minute. I have participated in all those relationships. So maybe, there is something to learn from that. But at the same time, it's that belief that relationship does not have any stages, and the first stage of the honeymoon is just what's supposed to keep on lasting till the last breath we take. And it sounds all fantastical, and you might think like nobody thinks like that, but unfortunately a lot of people have that fantastical image in their mind, and they focus on it so much so that they are completely disconnected from what's happening in the real life. There is a person in front of me, the real person, but instead of getting to know them, authentically opening up to them, and creating this space between us with respect and, reality, we still fantasize about some kind of fairy tale, always passionate, stimulating, and relationship that is non-stop and is just always, giving more and more excitement. And it's like, no, sometimes there are parts of a relationship that are very healthy but very boring. And this is something that we also need to learn, because a lot of people get lost in this fantasy world. And to be honest with you, in the future, where some people will already stop looking at actual relationship with another human being, and they are much happier to do some digital relationship with a robot, or a doll that is with a AI intelligence. I mean, it's just gonna be a really, really wild ride to witness all that. But in the end of the day, like I always say, there is no technology in this world, and it will never be. There is no ideology in this world, and it will never be, that will divide two divine energies of masculine and feminine coming together and literally connecting in a divine unity. Nothing and no one will be able to override that, at least in my mind. I think that human connection and human love, and it's just the frequency of presence with the person who is just willing the best for you, and this is what healthy relationship is about. It's not about competition. It's just being with the person whose love is extension of themselves. I wonder what's gonna happen in the very near future. But in the meantime, as always, let's come back to reality. Let's see people in front of us as people, and not some kind of fantastical role that we create for them, and then we get disappointed when it's not fulfilled, and yet another relationship is over because my fantasy was not fulfilled, instead of, okay, you know, the reality can offer you so much more than the fantasy, but that pattern will stop you from seeing it. So once again, I invite you to consider to look into all of these patterns and into bringing more awareness into that and considering changing them for your own benefit, for your own probability of creating that healthy, long-lasting, real human connection that we're starving for, all of us in this world. And again, it's all available to us if we just heal ourselves to the level where we can accept it and we can give it to other people. So I hope that's helpful, and thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, they are all welcome in the section below. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.